this is Brian Tatler from Saxon and Diamond Head, and you're watching Disco Duro Video Z. I suppose because it was a big festival, one of the biggest we did last year, and it just seemed probably while we're still promoting this album to put out a live album. It's just for the fans, isn't it? It makes it a special event, and you can get this on vinyl and CD and you know, like a splatter edition and all sorts. So yeah, it's great. I mean, it's my first live album with Saxon, so it's exciting to be involved. I think Jackie mixed it. Jackie's our front of house live engineer and has been with Saxon for a long time. I think a good 12 years or more, and so he, you know, mixed it and it's done a great job. It sounds great. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, it's out and it's out in the wild.
And if it's right, it will be released on CD, in a double CD, including the last record, Hellfire and Steel, isn't it?
That's right. It's a double disc thing, isn't it, with the last album and the live show from Hellfest. So yeah, it's a nice package.
But why have you included the last album too?
I don't know. It's not my decision. It's either the record label or somebody, you know, management or something. So I'm still the new boy. I don't get asked my opinion on things like that. Yes, so this is great. It sounds great, and it's a nice again memento of this band, this lineup. You know, Raz has been in the band 11 years, I think now, and we've Abs and Paul, and it's our first live album for 20 years. So I thought it was, you know, high time we did a live album and try and capture this lineup, you know, in all its glory.
And how did you plan the recording of the album?
Yeah, well, what happened was we were on tour with Saxon in October 2022. We did Europe. We did 22 dates in Europe, and during that tour we had a meeting, a band meeting, and our front of house engineer Jay said we could record all the UK shows because we have that facility now. You can just do it on the desk and you just load it digitally onto hard drive or something, and then you can review it afterwards. So we thought that was sounding like a great idea. Record all the shows and then have a listen to them, and if we like it, put it out as a live album. So it was the only thing we had to get right was the set. So we were doing, I think, 40 minutes with Saxon opening. So we knew we needed to make a longer album than 40 minutes. So we had to work out a longer set for. And the reason how we did that was by adding different songs as we went through the tour. We would do the big songs that we call the big five: Am I Evil, Helpless, The Prince, It's Electric, and In the Heat of the Night. We know we do them every night because the fans want them. And yes, so yeah, we would have room for 3 other songs each night. So we would do different songs. We did Dead Reckoning one night. We would do Sweet and Innocent. We'd do Death by Design, The Belly of the Beast, things like that. So then we got a chance to capture those other songs throughout the tour and pick them from different shows.
Okay, so is it like having 2 children at the same time with 2 women?
Oh no, you're going to ask me which one I like best. I couldn't possibly say.
Okay.
That's just cruel.
From what I have been able to read in some interviews, there are no plans at the moment to do anything with Diamond Head.
That's right. We can't book gigs at the moment, so we're just on hold. You know, everybody's doing their own thing, and we will come back together when the timing's right. And you know, I'm busy with SAXON. It's a lot more work than Diamond Head was. So a lot of my time is taken up either with the shows or in the background. I'm doing things like interviews, but also writing for the next album. The next SAXON album should come out end of next year. And so, you know, there's plenty to be getting on with. So I don't want to take on too much. And we just decided, the management advised us, and as well as the agent, to put it on hold and see how the land lies, as they say, you know, see what happens in the next year or two.
So when do you think about celebrating Diamond Head 15th anniversary? When it
Yeah, I mean, yeah, next year it is really the 50th anniversary of Diamond Head, because I formed the band in 1976. So it would be nice to do something for that, but I don't know what yet. And it's difficult to do a gig, as I say, because it could well clash with the SAXON show, and that would be awful. So I don't know what we're going to do yet, but we are aware of that. So we'll see. We'll maybe come up with something.
Was it difficult to put aside your band activities for joining SAXON?
No, because I've been doing it since I was 16 on and off, and I've put so much of my life and my time and my energy into Diamond Head that it was lovely to have an opportunity to kind of go several rungs up the ladder, play with a great band, with, you know, great players. It was a real opportunity that I could not miss. So, you know, while I love Diamond Head, I also really enjoy SAXON. So I was absolutely ready for the challenge, and I grabbed it with both hands. I think it's a great band. I really enjoy playing the songs.
Which was your favorite SAXON album?
I'd probably say Wheels of Steel, because I like things like, you know, Motorcycle Man, and I like 747 and Wheels of Steel. So there's some great stuff on that album. I mean, it came out the same year that the first Diamond Head album came out. That was Lightning to the Nations was 1980, and Wheels of Steel was 1980. So, you know, we were aware of each other, you know, 45 years ago. And it's just how it's gone, you know, that I've ended up joining SAXON. And who'd have thought? I never had a clue that I might be offered this gig until 2022, when I started getting some, you know, phone calls.
After your Evil Life album, the band Diamond Head disappeared for 6 years.
Yes.
More or less. What did you do during that time?
That was between 74 and 2000, wasn't it? So I joined a couple of bands. I did some just covers bands and things like that, just to keep playing, because I think that's what I do best, play guitar. So I was not going to go back to, you know, I used to be a car mechanic when I left school, so I didn't want to do it like a 9 to 5. I joined a band called Quill, and we toured a lot. I think I did 700 gigs in 4 years. Oof. So that toured a lot. You know, we'd probably do 5 nights a week. I also played in a Thin Lizzy tribute band as well, called Dizzy Lizzy, for a couple of years, which was great fun. You know, I don't mind in a way what I play, as long as I can keep playing, keep these fingers well oiled. And I think it was probably the right thing to do, to just keep going, keep playing.
Do you remember your first heavy metal concert you attended?
The first concert I attended, yes, I went with my brother when I was about maybe 12, something like that. He took me to see a band called Amondor in Birmingham, a German krautrock band, because my brother was 6 years older than me, liked all those bands. Like, he took me to see Can, and he liked, you know, bands like Noi and Tangerine Dream. And so anyway, yeah, Amondor, and I didn't really know any of the material, but I thought it was a great night because it was just loud and with lights and all the equipment fascinated me. And it probably helped my eventual, forming a band, because my brother was in a band and he used to let me play his guitar and lend me equipment and stuff. But eventually, I formed Diamond Head in 1976. But I think going to see bands when I was young, I saw Black Sabbath when I was 14. It probably all rubbed off on me. And sort of eventually I thought I'm going to form my own band. I'm going to do a heavy metal band. And, be like.
What did he what did he think about your career in Diamond Head?
Oh, he was immensely proud of my career in Diamond Head, and he was always very, very encouraging. And I would always go to him with ideas, and he would be a fantastic sounding board. So I'd play him stuff, like demos and artwork, and anything that I wanted a hand with, Dave would help me with. So I really miss him. He died, unfortunately, a couple of years ago, and he's a great loss because he was such a fantastic guy. I would say, one of the main reasons I started playing guitar was Richie Blackmore. So I didn't come across Blackmore on his first album. He played with Screaming Lord Sutch, didn't he? But his first Deep Purple album, I never listened to those early albums, Book of Taliesin and Shades of Deep Purple and all that. I didn't get Deep Purple until Machine Head, and I absolutely loved it. Machine Head was the second album I ever bought, and after listening to things like Highway Star and Pictures of Home, I thought, if I want to get good on the guitar, I'm going to have to practice, every day. So Richie Blackmore was sort of inspirational to me to I'd already started playing, but to try and get good.
Lining to the Nations and Borrowed Time, your second one. What changed in the band that influenced your songwriting style?
I think it might have been the time, because we'd written the songs for Lighting to the Nations between 78 and 79, and then the songs for Borrowed Time were written between 1980 and 1982. And I think because we hadn't exactly exploded, we couldn't even get a record deal. So I think we looked to try a different style. And I think at this point, Sean had become, I'm a Led Zeppelin fan, but Sean had become even more of a Led Zeppelin fan. And I think he wanted to try and write some stuff that sounded a bit more like Led Zeppelin. So I think we came up with Borrowed Time, Don't You Ever Leave Me, and In the Heat of the Night, all at one period. And that became the bulk of the album. Plus we brought over two songs from Lighting to the Nations, and then we had the hit single of Call Me. So I think it was just trying to evolve, trying to become successful, trying to write something that will capture people's imagination, because Am I Evil was there, but it wasn't the song it is today. We didn't have Metallica promoting it all over the world. I don't think it was just the music. A lot of the press liked it. We had people like Jeff Barton and Paul Suter and Malcolm Doan were on our side, but we had amateur management, and they'd never done it before. And I think they're unrealistic expectations of what a record label would offer. And when we were only getting single deals offered us and things like that, they kind of repelled all borders. So I don't think it was necessarily the band's fault. In hindsight, people think Lighting to the Nations is a classic album. Yet, as I say, we couldn't even get a record deal at the time. And it was released as a as a, a sort of test pressing, almost 1,000 copies with no cover and no label and nothing, just plain white sleeve. And it only had one review that I ever saw, which was in Sounds by Paul Suter, and it got 3.5 stars out of 5. And so we had no exposure, we had no press, we had no radio play, obviously no TV, or very, very little. And so it was just hard for us to get a deal. We made some terrible mistakes back in the day. We didn't tour the US, for example. The first time we went to the US was in 2002 for one show. So we left, there's 20 years gone by where we should have been kicking the door down. So that was a mistake. And of course we split up twice and lost members, lost original members and all that. So yeah, we didn't make it easy for ourselves. But at least I'm still here, we're all still alive. We've got this legacy of the music. Diamond Head's recorded 8 studio albums. We've been touring as much as we can, and fortunately Metallica covered 4 of our songs, which I can laugh my socks off to that.
So let's go back to 1983 when you opened for the Monster of Rock Festival.
Yeah.
What memories do you have of that moment?
That was really hard. That's one of the toughest gigs I ever did. It was a sort of new band at that point. We'd got a new drummer, new bass player. We drafted in a keyboard player, and we were doing new material, stuff from Canterbury. And then we were first band on, so that's a tough opening. To open Monsters of Rock is really tough. We probably went on at 2:00 in the afternoon. I just remember it being like a fight your way through every song. It was really hard. You don't get a sound check, etc., the monitors. We probably had half an hour set. Yeah, it was a tough gig.
So it was a good opportunity, but you didn't enjoy it a lot.
No, it was just too hard. We probably should have done more preparation. That's life.
Talking about Black Sabbath, one of your favorite bands.
Yeah.
You were supporting them in 1983.
Yeah. It was the Born Again tour.
Yeah.
And I remember it was Ian Gillan singing and Bevan on drums, which was strange. After being a big fan of Black Sabbath and seeing them with Ozzy a couple of times. And I love those, especially the first 6 Black Sabbath albums up to Sabotage. So suddenly, Born Again was a bit of a strange album for me. And to me, I think I didn't necessarily want to accept Ian Gillan as the singer in Black Sabbath. Yeah. I'm kind of being loyal to Ozzy, I suppose. So I thought it was a bit strange. And then they would do Smoke on the Water live as well. So it was a really strange gig. But I mean, they were big gigs, so really big. We played to some huge crowds. So it was a fantastic opportunity to open for Black Sabbath. It was very exciting. But we weren't on, cooking on gas, I don't think, Diamond Head. And I don't think Black Sabbath were either, compared to their peak period of when, things like, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath and Master of Reality and those classic Black Sabbath albums. But what an experience. It was an amazing tour. First time in a tour bus and things like that. If for example, Saxon stopped playing, decided to retire or whatever, then I would want to pick Diamond Head back up again. We said that all along. No one knows how long Saxon's going to last. I hope it lasts, till we all, don't want to do it anymore or something. God forbid. But yeah, that's what I would do. I think that's been the, you know, in the back of my mind all along. If Saxon stop, we'll
But
turn back
if
into Diamond Head. Yeah.